What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Sade Sports Talk. My name is Sade, and if you're new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for your weekly sports updates. Man, do I have a show for you guys. We're going to get a little bit to NBA, a little bit of women's soccer, got some hometown shout-outs going, some college football, a new segment I have now called Winners and Whiffs, where I talk about my picks from my last episode. Alright, so we're going to start off today with breaking news of the week. So in my previous podcast, I talked about how Damian Lillard got traded from the Portland Trail Blazers to the Milwaukee Bucks in exchange for Drew Holiday and some other people. Well, yesterday, Drew Holiday gets traded to the Boston Celtics in exchange for Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, a 2024 Golden State first-round pick, and a 2029 unprotected Boston first to the Blazers. So with this trade, the Celtics have now jumped to second for the NBA title odds. The Bucks, after acquiring Damian Lillard, are still number one. But, I mean, both Portland and the Celtics both get something that they could use. Drew Holiday is an established guard, championship winner, knows how to defend, can score a little bit. Basically, for the Celtics, an upgraded version of a Marcus Smart. While the Trailblazers got Robert Williams, which is a young upcoming center, and Malcolm Brogdon, who can help, mentor some of the young guards on the Portland team. But yeah, I'm ready for basketball season to start. I can't wait to see how these new players do on their teams. All right, in my next segment, which is one of my favorites, the hometown shout-outs, where I'm shouting out all of my Houston teams that played over the weekend. So first, the Texans. The Texans they're surprising me. They beat the Steelers 30-6. Rookie C.J. Stroud continued his impressive play with throwing for 306 yards and 2 touchdowns. He has now thrown the second most yards of a rookie through his first 4 games in NFL history and has not thrown a single interception. And I also believe that he leads rookies in every statistical category, which also was his class, was Anthony Richardson, who was drafted by the Colts, and Bryce Young of the Carolina Panthers, who was drafted number 1 overall. Houston, I think we got a quarterback that we can get behind, that we can possibly believe in. Kid can play. He's really talented. To have not thrown no interceptions for a rookie, that's really impressive. So my next shout out, my Houston Astros clinched the AL West with the 8-1 win over the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Astros have now won the division title 3 straight times, and this is their 6th in their last 7. They now have a first-round bye and will be facing either the Minnesota Twins or the Toronto Blue Jays. So that means Houston, we're either going to get a homecoming from Carlos Correa or George Springer. Next up, the Houston Dynamo. The U.S. Open Cup champs will welcome home to take on local rivals FC Dallas in the Texas Showdown. It was a highly contested match with the ref dishing out 4 Dynamo players receiving yellow cards. Sadly, though, no team was able to break the deadlock and the match finished 0-0. Last up, our Houston Dash. The Dash beat Gotham FC in New Jersey 2-0 to move them just outside of a playoff spot with 2 games to go. Michelle Alozzi scored a brace that helped the Dash claim all 3 points. So next up, I want to get into some college football. And of course, I'm going to talk about Colorado because that's really the only team who I watch. So Colorado and USC played over the weekend, and man, what is it a game? It was a showcase. And I said in my previous episode how I never watched Caleb Williams play, and man, was I missing out. Kid can play. I see the comparisons to him, to people calling him the next Patrick Mahomes, but better. I definitely see it. Kid went 30 for 40. 403 yards and 6 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns. And I watched him just sling it and just running out the pocket and just throwing the ball with accuracy. Homie can play. I definitely see why he will be going number 1 overall. He also had 1 interception, though, which was his first of all season, which is pretty remarkable. And Shedeur Sanders showed out a little bit, too. Went 30 for 46, 371 yards, 4 TDs, and 1 rushing touchdown. Yeah, Shedeur, he had a pretty decent game. 4 touchdowns, and it almost led the comeback. But honestly, I think who stole the show besides Caleb Williams, was a freshman named Omarion Miller. Never heard of the guy before. I think they put him in just to try to get some kind of spark on offense, and man, did he provide. Kid has 7 receptions, 196 yards, and a clutch touchdown. And yeah, I feel like at the end of the game, since he had the hot hand, Colorado should have went back to him. Colorado almost pulled off the upset and could have won this game. I mean, they lost it. I believe the score was 48-41 in the end. But at the end of the game, Colorado had a chance to possibly win it, but they just made the offensive coordinator was calling very questionable plays, mainly running plays after Colorado hasn't been running the ball well all day, and they were just eating up too much clock, and then eventually it ran out and Colorado wasn't able to complete the comeback. But man, was it a game between 2 young quarterbacks like showcasing their talents. And that Caleb Williams, if y'all haven't watched any USC games, I would highly recommend it, because that kid, yeah, he's extremely talented. Okay. So next, we're going to get into some soccer now. So first, I want to start with some women's soccer, because you know what they say, ladies first. So here in the U.S., we have a women's league, which is called the NWSL, which stands for National Women's Soccer League. And there were some games over the weekend that I'm going to give a little recap of that I think you guys should probably go watch the NWSL. The games come on Paramount Plus. So on one of the games, it was the Washington Spirit versus the Kansas City Current. Washington won 2-1. Dennis Rodman's daughter, if y'all didn't know, they had a daughter. Her name is Trinity Rodman. And she scored a banger in stoppage time to secure all 3 points for the Washington Spirit, who now sit 5th in the standings, hoping to clinch a playoff spot. Next up, the Chicago Red Stars beat Racing Louisville 1-0 thanks to Canadian Bianca St. George's. Both of these teams are at the bottom of the table, but surprisingly could still make the playoffs, but need help from the teams above them, hoping that they slip up in the standings. Next up, Portland Thorns versus San Diego Wave in the first versus second battle at the top of the table, where the San Diego Wave came up victorious, with Alex Morgan scoring her 6th goal of the season. Yeah, Alex Morgan, if y'all don't know her, go look her up. Talented woman. Plays for the U.S. Women's National Team, has countless appearances, countless goals. Girl is a beast. Then last up, OL Reign versus North Carolina Courage. Both of these teams are fighting for a playoff spot, with 3 points being crucial to either team. The Reign opened the scoring in the 21st minute, courtesy of Bethany Balser, but right before halftime, Kara Stein of North Carolina Courage equalized the game. Sadly, in the second half, no one was able to make the breakthrough, and the match ended 1-1. Megan Rapinoe, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you guys have heard of her, but she's also another polarizing figure in U.S. women's soccer. She's retiring soon, and hopefully, OL Reign will be able to clinch a playoff spot for her, so she can maybe end her career on a high. So now down with the women's side, let's go over to some men's soccer. So I dropped a little informational video a little bit about the Premier League. So I'm going to talk about some games that went on over there. So Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Arsenal get a big 4-0 win to go level with Tottenham for second place. Kai Havertz who joined this summer, finally opened his Arsenal account with the penalty after going 7 games without a goal or an assist. That was really big for his confidence. He really needed it because you can see in the games he was trying, but never really worked for him. So it was nice to see the players give him the ball to score the penalty to give his confidence up. Hopefully he can now kick on. Next up, Man City versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves pull off the upset against reigning champion City with the 2-1 win. Wang Hee-chang scored the winning goal in the 66th minute. And this game was a tricky one for the champion City because Wolves are a team that they give people problems. And before this game, Pep Guardiola didn't know Hang Lee-chang's name. He just called him the Korean guy. So I bet after that, I bet he knows his name now since he scored the winning goal on them and claimed all 3 points. Next up, in the Premier League, Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. United Premier League form took another dip with a narrow loss to Crystal Palace by a score of 1-0. United have now lost 4 consecutive Premier League games, leaving them 10th in the table on 9 points. I guess you could say I'm a Manchester United fan. Like, I follow them. So to see them struggle like this in the season, I know they had their injuries, but they just beat Crystal Palace, like, literally, I think a few days ago before this match. So the fact that they couldn't beat them again, I don't know what's going on with United. If I'm being honest with you, I know probably some of my subscribers are United fans, but the team's kind of in a little dumpster fire right now. Okay, so moving on to another country in Europe, Italy. In a league, they have a league called Serie A. And one of the games was Inter versus Fiorentina. Lautaro Martinez came on in the 55th minute and scored 4 goals in blistering fashion to make sure Inter came away with all 3 points and remained top of the Serie A. So that's pretty impressive. Like, you come on in the second half and you just score 4 goals back to back to help your side win. That's pretty cool. That's pretty talented. And last up, in Spain, in La Liga, Real Madrid versus Granola. Jude Bellingham might just be the signing of the summer. Dude scored his 6th goal in 7 matches, helping Real Madrid win 3-0. Bellingham, since he signed for Real Madrid, has just been outstanding. Kids scoring left and right and looking like he was a bargain for Real Madrid, honestly. I didn't think he was going to perform like this, but because when you play for a team like Real Madrid, the pressure is on. So the fact that he's standing up to the challenge and pretty much putting the team on his back. Alrighty, coming up, my next segment, Winners and Whiffs, where I talk about my picks from my previous show, the ones I got right and the ones I got wrong. So I didn't do so bad last week. I went 4-1-5. 4 of the games I got right, 5 I got wrong. 1 of the games was a soccer game, so it ended up being a draw. So I'm gonna count that as 1. So first up, Liverpool versus Tottenham. I had Liverpool winning this game. My pick was Liverpool to win this game. Tottenham won, but there was a lot of controversy in this match. Liverpool wrongly had a goal ruled for offside by VAR. So, and the VAR is supposed to help with the referee in making decisions, but both the ref and VAR got it wrong because when they did the replay, the goal was clearly onside. And during the game, the ref just made a lot of questionable decisions that went against Liverpool. And I think once the goal was ruled for offside, I think Liverpool just kind of lost it. Maybe their emotions got into it because, then in the dying seconds of the game, they scored an own goal and Tottenham claimed all 3 points. But, and even once they went to go review the goal, the people who are over the referees and VAR even said that they got it wrong. So, Yeah. But I mean, nothing they can do about it. Tottenham technically won the game, and yeah. So, I got that one wrong. Okay. Milan versus Lazio. Milan was my favorite to win this game because of the dominance that they have in the fixture. And sure enough, they won comfortably, 2-0, with Christian Pulisic scoring his third goal in the AC Milan shirt. Bayern versus Leipzig. Bayern was my pick going into this game. In my previous episode, I said that this one could have gone either. I said it could have easily have been a draw, in which it was. But Harry Kane gets his 8th goal in 6 matches, which is great for him. He's off to a blistering start in a Bayern uniform. Barcelona versus Sevilla. Barcelona was my team for going to this game because of their home record they had been on. They were like on a 6-game home streak, and then Sevilla was on a 4 consecutive away loss home streak. And sure enough, Barcelona won thanks to an own goal scored by someone who they used to have, their previous rival, Sergio Ramos, who used to play for Real Madrid, which is Barcelona's fiercest rivals. Now, moving on to my picks for football. Dolphins versus the Bills. So, I had the Dolphins winning this game based on what they did last week when they beat the Broncos 70-50. I thought, the Dolphins were just going to just score all over the Bills, but the Bills said, not in our house. Josh Allen, man. Josh Allen is a force to be reckoned with. He can either run, or he can pass, or whatever he needs to do, he can get it done. And all these people were talking about, yeah, the Dolphins are the new team. You got to watch in the AFC East. Bill said, nope. And put them right in their place. They beat them 48-20. And Josh Allen threw for 4 TDs and ran for 1. 3 of those TDs that he threw went to his main man, Stephon Diggs. And they shut those Dolphins fans up. And I got to admit, I thought, with the Dolphins, with what they did last week, I seriously thought that they were going to make a statement here. But they didn't. And now Josh Allen is 5-1 against Tua. And with this pick, I should have won with the better quarterback, which is Josh Allen. So I know that for next time. In all my picks, go with the better quarterback. And the stats were against the Dolphins, and I should have rode with the Bills. But you live and you learn. Next up, the Ravens versus the Browns. I had the Browns winning this game because they were the number 1 defense, and I thought that they were going to be able to stop Lamar Jackson. I didn't know Deshaun Watson wasn't going to play through a shoulder injury because of a shoulder injury, so rookie QB Dorian Thompson-Robinson got the start. And Lamar Jackson, you wouldn't even know that the Browns were number 1 defense because Lamar Jackson lit him up. He threw for 2 touchdowns and he rushed for 2. The Browns just couldn't stop him. And I got this pick wrong. Again, always go with the better quarterback between Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is the better quarterback, and I shouldn't have doubted him. Next up, the Broncos versus the Bears. It was kind of like a freebie of who wants to win. Yeah, I mean, the Bears came out with a blistering start. They had a 21-point lead. You thought, they were gonna win, but no. The Broncos somehow made a comeback, and the Bears are now 0-4 to start the season. But in the third quarter, in the dying seconds of the third quarter, this game was 28-7. And then somehow the Broncos scored 21 unanswered points, with Russell Wilson going for 21 for 28, 223 yards, and 3 TDs. And both teams needed this win, considering the fact that the Broncos had just got blown out 7-20 by the Dolphins. And the Bears just haven't won a game since last season. I think their record is 0-13, so they haven't tasted a win in about a year or so. But yeah, this is really the Bears' game to win, and they choked. I mean, Justin Fields had a pretty decent game, but had a turnover in the end, which allowed the Broncos to get back into it. But as always, next week, the Chiefs versus the Jets. So this was a star-studded event with a whole bunch of celebs being at this game. Taylor Swift, supporting her man Travis Kelce. Aaron Rodgers was there supporting the Jets. Hugh Jackman, Paul Rudd, Ryan Reynolds, and Blake Lively. It was a star-studded event, and it was a thriller. The Chiefs barely made it out with the win. Mahomes didn't have his best game. I believe he had 3 interceptions, but he had a big rushing play at the end of the game where he slid for the first down instead of going for the touchdown, iced the game just to run out the clock. But yeah, this wasn't like how Patrick Mahomes normally play. It seemed like his mechanics was off, seemed like a little bit wild, but luckily they pulled it through. They were my pick to win the game, and thankfully they did win. But Zach Wilson, though, he showed out. Kid showed a little bit of promise. Had 245 yards and 2 TDs. But in the end, it wasn't enough to overcome the Chiefs, sadly. He dropped the snap in one of their crucial plays towards the end, and he took accountability for it. He said that the loss was on him, and that's a pretty big move for a young player to say something like that, because you can easily just blame other people. So that was really nice of him to see. He's also the first ever opposing QB to ever outperform Patrick Mahomes in college or the NFL, which is a pretty confidence booster, Maybe the Jets have a little promise. Maybe, hopefully, this will kickstart Zach Wilson's season. Hopefully so. Then my last pick, the Cowboys versus Patriots. I had the Cowboys because they should have won this game easily, and they did handle the Patriots pretty well. They beat the Patriots 38-3, which was Bill Belichick's biggest loss ever with the Patriots. So that's a pretty big deal. Their defense carried them through this game. They scored a pick 6 and scored off a fumble recovery. And QB Mac Jones got benched in the third quarter for backup QB Bailey Zappi. Trying to see. Game was pretty much over in the third quarter anyway. So, I don't really understand Bill Belichick's reason for pulling him. Bailey Zappi probably wasn't going to be any better against that Cowboys defense, but he did it anyway. So, I guess that's just that man's reasoning for doing why he did it. But all right. So my last segment of the day is my game changer must-see matchups and my picks. I got about 4 soccer games here and 1 football game, 1 Thursday night football game. So, my first up, I got in the NWSL, Angel City versus Orlando Pride. Both teams would be wanting the 3 points to keep their keep their hopes alive of making the playoffs. I'm going to take Angel City in this game because of the star power that they have. They have Sydney Leroux, Elizabeth Thompson, Amadon Henry. They're kind of like the star-studded team of the NWSL, so I think they should be able to get all 3 points here. So then my other picks that I have are for the UEFA Champions League. So for those that don't know what the UEFA Champions League is, this is a tournament where all the biggest teams in Europe compete to be crowned the best team in Europe. So some of these games I think you guys should probably check out. They come on Paramount. Games come on, I believe, at 11:45 and 2 o'clock p.m. on Paramount Plus if you guys have it. So my first matchup, I got Napoli versus Real Madrid. Napoli have never beaten Real Madrid in 4 previous meetings. while Real Madrid have won 14 of their last 16 UEFA Champions League games against Italian sides. Plus, this is Real Madrid's competition. They have won it a record of 14 times, and this is their competition. This is where they really flex their muscles and they really get into the nitty gritty. So my pick is going to be Real Madrid to win this game. I don't really have. I guess I could pick a scoreline. I think this game could be like I'm going to say a 3-2, like a little thriller game. I think so, because Napoli do have some pretty quality forwards. So I think they'll probably maybe get like 1 or 2 off Real Madrid's defense, because their defense is a little beat up right now. Next up, Newcastle United versus PSG. Newcastle have lost to French opponents 6 times in 13 meetings, while PSG have lost 5 of their last 7 UEFA Champions League games against English sides. I think this game could go any way because Newcastle United has some dudes. PSG got some dudes. But I think PSG will pull off the win because of the fact of their experience in the Champions League. Newcastle haven't been in this league in a while, and PSG have been here pretty much every season since their existence. And plus, they have one of the best players in the world, which is Kylian Mbappe. You have to pay attention to him at all times. And once he breaks loose, you just better hope and pray that he misses, because, yeah, kid's talented. Okay, next up I got Borussia Dortmund versus AC Milan. First meeting between the two since the 2002-2003 edition of the UEFA Champions League, where Milan won. Milan have only lost 2 of their 14 Champions League games against German sides. And my pick for this game is going to be AC Milan because I think they have a more talented team than Borussia Dortmund. I think they have some difference makers like Olivier Giroud, Christian Pulisic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Theo Hernandez, Rafael Leao. I think that their attacking talent will be able to put more pressure on Borussia Dortmund's defense versus Dortmund's attack on AC Milan's defense. And lastly, in the MLS, I have Seattle Sounders versus LA Galaxy. Seattle has beaten the Galaxy in 10 straight regular season games, which is the longest unbeaten run against the Galaxy. The Galaxy haven't won in Seattle since 2016, which was years ago, so that's pretty crazy. So I'm just going to go with the stats here, and my pick is going to be the Seattle Sounders. And my last pick, little Thursday night football game coming on here. Got the Bears versus the Commanders. So like I said earlier, the Bears lost against the Broncos in their last game to try to get their first win of the season. Now they are 0-4, hoping to look for the first win. While the Commanders almost pulled the upset last week on the Philadelphia Eagles. They had the ball at the end of the game and tied it. Could have went for 2, but for some reason they decided to equalize and send the game into overtime. When I feel like in that position, you should just go for 2, because more than likely the better team will win in overtime, which the Eagles did. So my pick for this game is going to be the Commanders, because it just seems like they are the better team, and Chicago is going to be really down on confidence after blowing that 21-point lead last week. I don't know what's going on in Chicago. It seems like they are a complete dumpster fire. It seems like the whole organization just needs a revamp. And it really sucks because I would love to see Justin Fields succeed because he seems like a really talented, head and the shoulders kind of guy. So hopefully they could probably get their win. But I still got the Commanders winning it though. But alrighty, guys, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. And once again, if you enjoyed today's show, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for listening. And make sure you check back Friday, where I will give my picks for the weekend and preview some games that's coming on this weekend. Alrighty, thank you guys. Appreciate it.